Yes, yes. What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Nick Harksen over here on Touchdown Detroit Lions on the Syndicate Sports Detroit network. How are we doing today? You know what today is. It's Tuesday, and the Lions just took down the Vikings to become the champs of the NFC North once again, the number one seed, and got that first round bye. It is Victory Tuesday. How y'all feeling, everybody? I'm feeling great. I hope you guys are too. Lady Lion 20 right here. Kings of the North. Happy Victory Tuesday. That's what I like to hear. Dennis, good to see you in here. What's going on? What up, though? It's good to be a Lions fan this year. It's good to be a Lions fan the last few years. And I am so relieved that we were able to take care of business at home this past Sunday night. I was biting my nails all day, pacing back and forth. I couldn't wait for Sunday night. Carrie Underwood said it best. Waiting all day for Sunday night. And I don't know if you can tell, my voice is a little hoarse. I was screaming at the TV. It was a great night. It was a great night. Very close game for a while there until we kind of just took over. I felt like we were dominating the entire time, really. It was just, we were making some mental errors. Goff had a few picks. We just weren't playing our normal style of football there for a little bit. The defense was stepping up the entire game. Love that out of them. But once the offense got rolling, it was over after that. And we beat the Minnesota Vikings 31-9 and won the North, baby. Back-to-back years, back-to-back champions. But you could tell the feel from the locker room that there is more work to be done. I feel like last year, the celebration afterwards was a little bit more. I mean, they were in Minnesota. They were going crazy. You saw them partying a lot more. This year, they were still enjoying themselves and celebrating. But you could tell that the mentality still was like, okay, we did this, but, that's, like Goff said, that's the first tick off the list. And they got to get to the next one now. But, love this for this team. I can't believe it took 15 wins. We had to go get our best record ever in history, 15-2. But it took 15 wins to win the North and get the number one seed this year. And it came down to the final game. Insane. But yes, the right team prevailed and is on top, baby. And that's the Detroit Lions. But I'm going to look over here and see what's up. We got some people saying, hello, Perry Ball. Good to see you in here. Lori King, how you doing? Perry Ball said, what a great year. 15-2, 6-0 in the division. Thanksgiving game win, number one seed. Don't forget 8-0 on the road, too. Undefeated on the road. It's amazing. It's amazing. John Peterson, what's up? He said, Victory Tuesday. That's right. It is Victory Tuesday. We celebrate all week long, and now we can celebrate 2 weeks because we got the bye. We can celebrate into our next game. Of course, we're going to start to focus once it gets close to time. But Lori King says, I love that snap the Vikings win streak, which was so sweet. Yes. Vikings, they were feeling like they were on top of the world. Really, really just arrogant a little bit. After their win over the Packers, they were celebrating like they already won the North. And I think that's where they messed up. Stephen A. said something about this too last week. But, it was a premature celebration. And I think that they knew what was about to happen. They're like, okay, let's get this celebration out of the way. We got to try and make Sam Darnold feel good because we're going to the jungle next week. And, the Lions going to beat that ass. And that's what happened. The Lions, took the belt out again, whooped the Vikings, let them know who was boss. We're the Kings of the North. We're the defending champs. And, back-to-back years. Love it. Love it. Perry Ball says, hopefully the Vikings beat the Rams. Okay, we're going to get into that talk here soon about who we want to play. But we'll stay on this game for a second here, get into some injuries and all that. But yes, I do want to know who you would want us to see play in that divisional round. Lori King, I am finally not sick for a change. That's good. Good. Health is wealth. I'm happy for you. Perry Ball, Gibbs, 1,200 yards, JMO, mass important. Yes, so let's get into this. Big time game for Jahmyr Gibbs. 23 carries, 139 yards, 3 rushing TDs, 5 receptions for 31 yards, and a receiving touchdown, 4 total touchdowns on the day. And if you didn't know, I got a little stat for you right here. Let me pull it up. Jahmyr Gibbs joins Barry Sanders as the only player in team history to score 4 touchdowns in a single game in the GOAT's company. Jahmyr Gibbs is in the GOAT's company. He joins Billy Sims as the only player in franchise history to produce a single season with at least 1,300 rushing yards and 500 receiving yards. So him and Billy Sims are the only 2 running backs in history to have 1,300 rushing yards plus 500 receiving yards. And him and Barry are the only ones to have 4 touchdowns in a game. Jahmyr Gibbs, you're the man. That's all I can say. Everybody who was doubting him when we drafted him 12th overall, he's proven you wrong. Remember how, all the ESPN analysis, they're like, they reached Jahmyr Gibbs and Jack Campbell in the first round? What? Now look at you. Now look at how both those guys are playing. Because Jack Campbell had an outstanding game, I felt like, this last game. Highest rated linebacker, PFF. I don't really like PFF this week, though, because they did their all PFF offensive line this year in the NFC, and not one offensive lineman was on there. They had the Packers left tackle over Penei Sewell, so, leave it what you will from how much you really read into a PFF grade. They also gave Amik Robertson, I think, a 64.1 this week, and Amik absolutely locked down Justin Jefferson. He's a dog. And just like he said, they tried to bury him, but you can't bury what comes from the dirt. That's got to be quote of the year from a player right there. My goodness, it gave me chills. He had tears rolling down his face. You could tell that it means a lot to him for what the chance that he's gotten here in Detroit and for him to shine and him to have that big game. And if you didn't know, too, I know they probably mentioned it. I don't know if you caught it, though. Amik Robertson and Justin Jefferson were high school rivals. They've been going at this for a long, long time, and Amik got the best of them this time. Of course, Justin Jefferson had some complaints saying that we were holding them, grabbing them all game and whatnot, but it is what it is. I didn't see it. I thought we were being good in coverage. There was some times, too, where we blew coverage and you were wide open and your quarterback couldn't hit you. But I'm going to leave that up to the defense, too, bringing pressure and really just throwing Sam Darnold off his regular clock. You got to give it up to Aaron Glenn for this defensive scheme that he had going this week. Dan Orlovsky pointed it out that, they were playing man pretty much the whole way down, but once they got into the red zone, they were doing multiple different reads. Like they would do a zone man, he said basically it's called cover 7. I'm not the guy to go over that with you right now. I don't have anything to show you, and I'm not a professional football player. But Aaron Glenn is drawing up some big-time schemes for this defense, and he knew what was at stake. I think we're going to see the defense stepping it up here in the playoffs. Each game, we're going to know who we're going to play. Hopefully, we're going to know this week, but hopefully Sunday, not Monday, and they can get that defense dialed in again for them. But, yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs, I went over his stats. Jared Goff didn't have the greatest of days, but once he got his interceptions out of the way, he was really dialed in and cooking. He went 27 for 33, 231 yards, and a touchdown. Of course, those 2 interceptions, and then a scary one that Van Ginkel could have got. But you know what? I'm going to get into this right now. A lot of Vikings fans I've been seeing all over X, all over all the social medias complaining about a few different things. But number one, they're saying that, that intentional grounding call that didn't get called in the end zone for Goff. They're complaining about that. Well, here, the score was 31-9. I'm going to tell you something. Those 2 points wouldn't have mattered. And I'll give you 5 because after the 2, maybe you get a field goal. But I'm definitely not giving you guys a touchdown because you couldn't get it in the end zone all game. I don't care if your quarterback's off. I don't care what the excuse was. You guys were not playing up to par, and you lost. I'll give you those 2 points that you guys are complaining about. Maybe it turns around some momentum, but the score was 31-9. So it would have been 31-11. And if you want to put in another score, whether it's a touchdown or a field goal, we still win. Okay? So just take your loss. Enjoy being the first ever 14-win team that's a wild card team in the playoffs. And bow down to your Kings of the North, okay, baby? That's right. Back-to-back years. I can't get enough of it. I can't get enough of it. But Sam Laporta, another good game. 7 receptions, 63 yards. Amon-Ra, 6 receptions, 77 yards. J-Mo only had 34 receiving yards, but, 6 receptions there. He had some big ones, too. J-Mo, I just been loving what he's been doing down the stretch of the season, and now we're coming in to the playoffs. But a key factor out there for that defense that I haven't looked over in the comments yet. I'll get over there real quick. But Alex Anzalone, man, having him back was so huge. He makes such a big difference. And I don't know if he was all the difference, but he was flying around out there. He was just being a menace to the other team, punching the ball out after the play, constantly just kept going, just messing with the Vikings and trying to get in their head. But he was also playing solid football, and they initially announced before the game that he was going to be playing on limited snaps. Well, he played 64 to 65 snaps on defense. He's just an absolute beast. To come back from arm surgery, have a rod in your arm, and you're out there already playing before the playoffs, and you make a huge difference that game, the man's just, he's awesome, to say the least. And I love that Thor is on our team. I think he makes that difference out there. He's got that contagious energy. Not saying that they didn't have that before. I think Jack Campbell is a great linebacker. They're still got the green dot on Jack Campbell. He's calling the plays. But Alex Anzalone, no doubt, is the captain out there. He knows that defense like the back of his hand. And just the way that he plays, 100% all the time, it's so contagious to the other guys. And you could see it now. They all knew what was at stake, too, so that had a lot to do with it. The home field getting crazy. Their adrenaline's probably going nuts. But that's what's awesome about coming up in these playoffs. We got that 1 seed. We get the bye. Guys can rest up. We got home field advantage. We're going to get that feel every single game moving forward. So, we did lose our 2 games at home, but I think it's huge. I think it's massive in the playoffs because that was a playoff environment on Sunday night. You saw how Minnesota responded. They couldn't. Sam Darnold, they were rattled. I think we got that going forward. I mean, obviously, we're going to be at home the next 2 games. Hopefully, we win this next one. But having home field advantage, having this bye is so big for this team, especially since our last bye, the bye during the regular season was the 5th week of the season. It's been so long. So shout out to the boys for getting the job done and becoming back-to-back champions. I'm going to get over here to the comments. I see you guys going off, which I love. All right, Mary Peterson. Great game, Nick. Good to see you in here. Perry Ball, AG shows he's a head coach in waiting. I could see Glenn take over the Saints or Las Vegas. Yeah. If you watch Dan Campbell's presser today, too, he was just going to bat for Aaron Glenn. He was like, he's a great coach. He's an even better human being. If he doesn't make it through this cycle, it would be embarrassing pretty much. But he's like, I'll take him back. I'll gladly take him back. He goes, but if he gets through this coaching cycle, this hiring cycle, and doesn't get a job, he would be shocked. So, we got to get it done this year. Not saying that there can't be better people, but it looks like AG probably will be going to another team. The Saints, I did see some rumors saying that they are expected to hire him. I know that he's going to interview with the Bears, with the Jets, probably with Vegas now. I know Jaguars requested him. Ben Johnson has also been requested by the Bears, the Patriots, the Jaguars. Now requesting and actually interviewing with teams is 2 different things. I know Ben Johnson is going to take an interview with the Bears and Patriots, and I would expect Aaron Glenn to be a little bit more open for, his coaching role next year. He's probably going to take more interviews. Ben Johnson's going to be much more selective, but they're allowed this week to interview Thursday through Saturday. Dan Campbell gave him that window, but since they are in the postseason and we're still playing, it has to be remote. They can't go meet in person. It has to be over a computer over the phone, something like that. So it'll probably still, any news will happen after the postseason. But I hope that those guys stay. I really do. I hope that they want to stay around because they're great coaches. I know we were getting on AG's case a lot the last few years. It shows this year how good of a coach that he is when he can implement his style. But it looks like that he will be a coach probably somewhere else next year. And it would not shock me, of course, if he went to the Saints. He's got a lot of ties there. The Jets, too, though. He played there. So I could see that. But I know that Rex Ryan wants that job bad. Rex's son is a coach for the Lions. But Rex Ryan really wants the Jets job. He was on line today saying that, he goes, Ben Johnson's a great coach, and I love him. Don't get me wrong. But I'm better for this job. So hopefully the Jets hire Rex Ryan. And hopefully all the other teams hire other coaches as well. I know that there was a little dispute there with the Bears and Ben Johnson. Their GM, Poles, is kind of trying to convince them not to hire Ben Johnson because he thinks that Ben Johnson's going to want a different GM. I hope Ben don't go to the Bears. I hope that AG don't go to the Bears. Either one of them. But yeah, they are looking like, top candidates once again this year. But Dan Campbell went to bat for AG big time today in his presser. Lori King Jefferson is claiming that refs cheated for Detroit Lions. Yeah, say that all you want. Say that all you want. They've been cheating against us for so many years. I don't see it. This is just crybaby excuses. You lost 31-9. 31-9. Eat that L, Jefferson. That's all I got to say. John Peterson says, don't care who we play. All right. Yeah, I like that. I like that mentality. I think we can take on anybody who we play to, especially at home. We're rolling now. If that defense plays like that, watch out. That's all I got to say. Perry Ball, a great running back or running game is still needed. The O-line and D-line are the most important part of a football team. Perry Ball also said, we limited the damage Jefferson can do. We are lucky Sam Darnold overthrew Jefferson early in the game. Yes, there were some bad passes by him. I think, he was getting pressured pretty good too, so I will give credit to that too. Yeah, he definitely missed a wide open touchdown, a couple of them. But that's the name of the game. You got to be able to come in and play elsewhere. You got to handle that pressure, and he couldn't do it. And we took a gamble, and it worked out. So credit to Aaron Glenn for that. Perry Ball also says the refs were on the Vikings side. Yeah, see, it's the Vikings fans and Jefferson just being biased. I thought the same thing. I was like, some of those penalties, ain't no way. Lady Lion having Anzalone back helped the defense. Yes, in a massive way. Like I said, he's the captain out there. You could argue Hutch is the heart and soul of that defense when he's out there, but Anzalone, is just as much. And just his presence, like I said, it's so contagious to the rest of the team. They were hyped up to have him back there and to see him playing the way that he was after an injury like that. Just no setbacks at all. Just 100% right out of the gate. Played all the snaps. Like I said, they said he was going to be limited, but he was not limited at all. And he played some great football. Made some big-time plays. Had a huge pass breakup against T.J. Hawkinson. Just him out there. He doesn't always have to make all the plays, but his energy is so electrifying. He's Thor. The rest of the defense just feels it, and they go hard for him. Perry Ball, if Goff didn't throw the second interception and move the ball better, we really destroyed the Vikings. I agree. And Perry Ball also says Alex Anzalone is a difference maker. 100%. Anzalone is the man. And you're right. Our offense, to your point about Goff, we were playing uncharacteristic, and we still came away with the W. If we were able to capitalize on certain plays and not throw those picks, and play more of our style, we could have really put up way more numbers. It was a lot closer than it could have been. And I'm glad that defense was playing out of their minds that day because we needed them the way that the offense was playing. But that's what complimentary football will get you. And that's why we're such a good team this year is when one team doesn't show up or one side doesn't show up, the other one tends to. But when we're both rolling, it's game over, baby. It's game over. Lori King, I am so happy Anzalone was back. He inspired the entire defense. Smith got a sack. Yes. Zadarius Smith, loved to see that. That was a big-time sack. If he would have got another one, he would have got a big-time paycheck, $250,000, I think, and he didn't get that because he needed 2 sacks to get that. He got 1, but he didn't get the second, unfortunately for him. But still, huge difference maker in that game. Big-time move by Brad Holmes there in the middle of the season. Perry Ball, hopefully the Vikings come to play versus the Rams. The Packers might be a one and done. Yeah, I think the Packers, we'll get into the playoff talk here real soon, very soon. Phil, good afternoon. Good to see you. Perry Ball says the Bears want to interview Mike MC McCarthy. Yeah, McCarthy. Yeah, I said MC McCarthy. Yeah, they want to, but the Cowboys apparently, they haven't responded to him yet. Don't know what's going on down there. Just more and more turmoil. It's bad, and I love it. Phil, AG to the Saints. I could see that. We talked about this maybe right before you got in here. Maybe you were here, and yeah, Dan Campbell just praising AG big time, and the Saints. It's rumored that they want to hire AG. I could definitely 100% see that happening. Phil, Bears Barnes is working out with Hutch. Both might be back. We'll talk about that here in a second. Perry Ball, the Vikings had the advantage with all the injuries we have and still lose big. Yep. Phil, who might the Raiders go after as a coach? They could go after one of our coaches 100%. I definitely see them requesting an interview with both Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson. They're probably going to go, I see Byron Leftwich is interviewing with a lot of different people. Salah is going to be out there. He just didn't really have a good tenure with the Jets. The Jets just, man, they're in a lot worse shape than people think. But, yeah, who knows? It could be a lot of different people there. I know that, Kellen Moore is another name out there that people are interviewing. So who knows? Who knows? Perry Ball, I'm not used to draft talk. Yeah, we're not going to do any of that right now. We got the playoffs, baby. We got the playoffs. But there has been some injury news, and I'm going to get to that right now. I believe it was Phil says that Barnes is working out with Hutch. Well, unfortunately, in the Dan Campbell press conference today, he said Carlton Davis and Derek Barnes are both doing great, but I don't see them coming back at all. Those players won't. I don't see them coming back at all. That is a quote from Dan Campbell. He does not see Carlton Davis or Derek Barnes returning at all for this playoff run, not for the Super Bowl either, and that is unfortunate. He says Aiden Hutchinson's return still seems like a long shot. He says, he had a season-ending injury. That's what he's going to say, but he goes, if anybody can come back, it's Hutch. So, it's still probably looking at Super Bowl, but they could just be bluffing at the same time. Because we saw Hutch on the sidelines. And you're not going to put Hutch out there on the sidelines unless he can move out of the way if somebody's coming towards him. They're not going to try and risk another injury with him. So I thought that was promising news, seeing him over there, getting hyped right there on the sidelines. That tells me he's moving along pretty well because, you're like I said, you're not going to put one of your star players at risk of getting rolled up on the sideline if you don't think he can move out of the way, or if you don't think he's capable, or if he doesn't feel comfortable doing that. So that's a little sign to look forward to. Most of the time they keep him up and out of the way, but when they start coming down on the field, that means they're pretty close. So something to keep your eye on there. Just saying. Pat O'Connor got bad news. He says O'Connor is not as positive. That's the best way that he can put it. But he did say that Terrion Arnold and Zeitler are positive. They said they got better news on Zeitler and Arnold. He said, I can't guarantee they're going to be playing the next game, but it's much better than it appeared to be when the injuries happened. So that's positive news. So, yeah, Terrion was scary when he got carted off. You definitely don't want to see another corner going down. But we did get some promising news with Ennis Rakestraw. Dan Kimball says, I do think there's a chance we get Rake back. He's trending in the right way as well. So that would be huge to get Rakestraw back next week in the first round, especially if Terrion's banged up and we're not going to get Carlton Davis back. I think Vildor's been playing a little bit better each week, which is good. He's not great or anything, but I I like Amik Robertson and what he's been bringing to the table. To shut down Justin Jefferson is huge. This is going to give him confidence going forward, and I feel completely confident with him throughout the playoffs. I mean, the kid showed up. He stepped up to the table against arguably the best receiver in the league and shut him down. I mean, 3 receptions for 54 yards. Yeah, that's decent, but for what he normally does against the Lions, that's amazing. Amik Robertson, shout out to you. Tip of the cap. You're the man. Keep on doing your thing, man. Keep proving the doubters wrong. Absolute dog. Would love to give him an extension because that guy is the epitome. He is what you think of when you think of a gritty corner. Like, he is a Detroit Lion for sure. He's got it. He's got it. All right, getting back over to the comments now that we got through the injury news. Not all of it, actually. Hold on. Demo, David Montgomery, Knuckles is expected to be back for the divisional round. David Montgomery, who we thought was going to have that season-ending MCL surgery, is expected to be back next game. That's huge. I think that Gibbs has been rolling. He's been doing perfectly fine. I mean, look at the numbers. And look at how he's playing. 4 touchdowns the last game. The kid's a beast. But to have, his counterpart there, his brother from another, it's huge. David Montgomery is massive to this team. He keeps Gibbs fresh. They keep each other fresh. And he's a goal line threat like no other. He's also a threat anywhere you put him. Gibbs is done great, like I said, but David Montgomery, different style, different monster. Those two together, unstoppable. So to have him back is going to be massive for this playoff run. And I cannot wait to see him and Gibbs out there wrecking havoc once again. I think that he will have more limited snaps than Gibbs. I think Gibbs will still be the workhorse. But then we'll put in Demo, maybe slowly the first game. Who knows? I don't know where he's at. I haven't seen him run. I haven't seen him practice. I haven't seen him do any of that. He could be a lot further along than any of us know. Obviously, he's doing great if he's expected to play the next game. So, I do see him that first game in the playoffs. We're still gonna work Gibbs more, but Montgomery will make his presence be known. And then the next game, maybe it's more of the 50-50 that we've been used to seeing. But I do see the first game having him back more on a limited snap count. But I thought that with Anzalone. And everybody said that too. Adam Schefter, Dan Campbell said it himself. They're going to monitor his snaps. Well, they must have monitored the first few, and they're like, okay, he's good to go. Just leave him out there. This guy doesn't want to come out. He probably told them too, no, don't take me out. And I could see Demo doing the exact same thing. All right. Phil says, will Bridgewater advance to coach after this season? I could 100% see that happen. I know that we got Mark Brunell right now in there as our quarterback coach, and they love him. But they could find a place for Teddy Bridgewater. I know that that's what Teddy wants to eventually do. That's why he went back to his high school, won a state championship. Now he's got that on his resume. He's ready. He makes a huge difference in a lot of these players' lives. I know J-Mo loved it when he was in the locker room, and he's so happy to have him back. Other young guys, I saw him coaching up Terrion Arnold before the game on Sunday night. So he's just great to have in that locker room. And, yeah, I would love to have Teddy be a coach for the Lions to start off after he is done with football altogether. John Peterson, if any injured players get back, who has the best chance? Well, looks like Rakestraw, if you're talking about the defensive side, looks like he's the closest. I mean, Terrion and who did I say? Terrion and Zeitler are both trending in the right direction. But Demo is back this time. He's going to be back right away. So that's a huge one. But we, really, it's going to hurt us big time. I thought that we were going to be able to have Carlton Davis back. I thought that initially, broken jaw, 6 weeks, we might get him back in the playoffs. That is a rough one to come back from and to get used to getting hit in the head and all that stuff again. So, I understand why, but if any injured players get back, who has the best chance? Well, Montgomery's coming back 100%. Terrion Arnold says he's playing. Of course, that's going to be down to the doctors, but he says, I'll be back for sure. So I think that he'll be there. And this bye week is huge. Now, if we didn't have the bye week, obviously we're playing next week. We're missing a few guys. I don't even know if Montgomery would be back this week. So the bye week is going to be massive. Get guys rested up. But to answer your question, yeah, Ennis Rakestraw, Montgomery's already back. And then Zeitler and Arnold, I all see coming back for that first game. Latest NFC championship, but one or two. I think Zeitler will be there. Terrion is, it's his foot. It's a foot contusion, and he's a corner, so that might be tough to move around on. But if he says he's going to be there, I trust the kid's going to be there. He seems tough. He's got the grit in him. He wants it. But, yeah, getting Ennis Rakestraw would be back. Getting him back would be huge, too. Perry Ball, A-Rod was a cancer for the Jets. The Jets got a bad owner. Yeah, they have a bad owner, and Rodgers just got the coach fired, brought in all of his people, and still only won 4 games. Or 5 games, sorry. That's what they got, right? 5 total now because they won that last one. Yeah, terrible. Terrible. Phil, could that statement be a dodge? You know how the Lions bluff. Yes. So I think that for sure Carlton Davis and Barnes are probably done. If he says that, and Kaminsky as well, apparently, is not looking good. Kaminsky's not looking like he's going to return either, which sucks. But if Dan Campbell says Carlton Davis and Barnes aren't going to return, I believe that. I think Hutch is more of a bluff. Like I said, he was on the sideline. If you're on the sideline, you got to be able to move out of the way. They're not going to risk their best player on defense getting hurt again for some dumb injury that happens on the sideline. If he can move enough to get out of the way, they'll have him on the sideline. Otherwise, he's in the box. So I do think it might be a little bit of a bluff, but, I'm embracing that. I'm embracing that. Come on back, Hutch. Phil says, nice hat. Thank you. Phil also says, Amik was unbelievable. That is correct. He was unbelievable, and we need more of that moving forward, especially if Terrion is going to be banged up playing. And we're not getting Carlton Davis back. Phil says JJ was so frustrated we shut him down and shut his mouth. Yep, he didn't shake Amik's hand after the game. When he scored a touchdown on him earlier on in the season, he shook his hand and said good game. But Meek Robertson was also, he said he was rubbed the wrong way by that. He said he went up to go greet him and he didn't shake his hand or say anything to him. He just walked right past him and went to the locker room. That's how you know you frustrated him, and he's a sore loser. He's a sore loser. Phil, his lateral movement might be limited, but he moves north and south. True. You're right. You're talking about Terrion Arnold. Perry and Ball, we need to pick up a veteran cornerback. We could now. Now, who's out there? I'm trying to think off the top of my head because I was not prepared for this, but we could. And I could see us doing that 100%. Especially with the injuries that are happening. We have a bye week to decide. We could make some moves. There's O'Connor not looking good, so we might need to make a move on the defensive line again. A lot of people were saying Calais Campbell, but I don't think he got cut from the Dolphins. So there's all these rumors swirling around on who we might get, who we might not. I could see us definitely making a move. We have enough cap space to make it happen. And the injuries, you never know how much they're going to pile up. Each game, it seems like we get somebody who goes out with a big injury. But, we've been doing better about avoiding some massive, massive ones the last few games. Because before that, it was like season-ending blow after season-ending blow after season-ending blow. So hopefully we avoid all that. But I would not be mad if we got some depth moves, especially in the DB room or on the D-line or both. Go out there and get a vet. Somebody who's hungry to get a Super Bowl and knows what's at stake and still got a little bit left in the gas tank for 3 games. 3 games, baby. 3 games. That's all we need to win it all. Of course, we got to go game by game. We're fortunate we got that 1 seed because now we're at home all the way through. But let's talk playoffs. Let's talk the playoffs. We're here. We got the first round bye. The Eagles are going to take on the Packers at home. The Buccaneers got the Commanders at home. And the Rams play the Vikings at home. Personally, I really wouldn't mind seeing the Vikings or the Packers a third time. I think that we own them. Yes, they know our style, but we kind of bring it different every single time. We have great coordinators like that. And as much as they know us, we know them too. And I don't think that they're as creative as our offensive coordinator or our defensive coordinator. And I think that having Demo back, and just the way we played them the last few times in our home atmosphere, in the playoff atmosphere, I think we handle either one of them. Commanders, we haven't seen this year. I think that that's a real possibility that we play them. I can definitely see them beating the Bucks. I don't know. I don't think the Packers will beat the Eagles. I kind of maybe hope that they do, just because I think they would be, I don't know, they play us tough. Don't get me wrong, but we own LaFleur and them. We own them, baby. So bring them back to Ford Field. But I could see the Commanders beating the Buccaneers. And if the Packers lose, then, we get the Commanders. That's a team we haven't played. They got a mobile quarterback. I think we could go up and down the field on them all day. But they have a good offense too. So that would be an interesting game. But I do see us taking that win as well. The Vikings, we just manhandled them. I think we can do even better against them. Rams, once again, would be very interesting facing Stafford. He always brings his all when he comes to Ford Field. Probably out of all the teams, I wouldn't want to see the Rams again just because of how close that game was, earlier in the season and last year in the playoffs as well. But I'll embrace it. Doesn't matter. Any of the teams that we could play, I think we can win 100%. The toughest game to me in the playoffs will probably be if we have to face the Eagles. So I am hoping that they lose somewhere before they get to us. But if we have to face them, we're at home, baby. It could be a shootout. And I don't think that Kellen Moore can keep up with Ben Johnson. So to me, I'm looking at the playoffs right now with us having the 1 seed and the home field advantage the whole way. Yes, I am biased. But this is our year, baby. This is our year. It's Super Bowl or bust. It's right there in front of us. We're rolling into the playoffs. We just won a division championship in convincing fashion. 15-2. It's our year. It's got to be. For the love of God. I'm begging you, Lord. No, but I'm looking at this, and no win would be easy. I'm not saying like all these teams are good. All these teams are good, and any given Sunday, any given Saturday, Monday, whatever it's going to be, you just never know. But out of all these teams, now that we're here, who would you rather face in the divisional round? I don't think that we would even have a chance to play the Eagles or the Bucks because, we play the worst seed. So if the Packers win, we play the Packers. If the Packers lose and the Commanders win, we play the Commanders. If Packers and Commanders lose and the Vikings win, we play the Vikings. If all three of them lose, we play the Rams. So just want to know where you're at. Who do you want to play? And is this our year? How far do you have the Lions going? You can be whatever you want to be. I think I'm being realistic when I say the Lions have the best chance to go to the Super Bowl in the NFC. But if you think that that's not realistic and you have something else, let me know, and we'll chop it up right here. All right. Gonna get over here, Phil. Who you want at Ford Field? Washington? Honestly, I think I would take the Packers over all of them just because I want to see LaFleur cry again. I want to see him cry again. But like I said, any of those wild card teams I'm good with. I think the Rams would give us a tough game just because of Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp on our D-backs and whatnot. But I wouldn't mind Washington. I wouldn't mind it. Perry Ball, the NFC wildcard game should be a good watch. Hurts his injury with head injury. That's right. So you never know. You never know what could happen there. Packers knocked off the Cowboys last year, right? So you just never know. Like I said, any given day in the NFL, and I wouldn't mind that at all. Phil, can you imagine the Vikings only losing to two teams with 4 losses if the Rams win again? The Vikings haven't played a lot of good teams this year. Sorry, I was yelling a lot on Sunday night. Vikings, when you look at their opponents and their strength of record and whatnot, it wasn't that great. The teams that they lost to were good teams. They lost to us twice, and I could definitely see them losing to the Rams again. So that would be hilarious, and I would definitely embrace that. I would love that. Phil, Vikings would lose 2 games to the Lions and 2 games to an ex-Lion. That's right. They would hate us even more for that. Perry Ball, Washington and the Rams scare me the most. Yeah, I think so too. Washington, just because we haven't seen them, and they just always somehow pull out a way to win. But I think that we could do a lot of damage to them on the offensive side. Their offense is good though. They do have a good offense, good young quarterback, good scrambling quarterback, and sometimes that seems to do well against us, but I think we'd be okay there. But yeah, them and the Rams, I agree with you. I know that the other two we've faced twice already this year, but I think I would rather play the Packers or the Vikings just the way that we've handled them this year. I know the first game was close against the Vikings, but we got it. All right, Cassandra Braden, what's up? Every other team has to get injured now. Yeah, maybe they all do this first week. That would, I don't wish that upon anybody, but if you want to make it fair. But hey, we're just thriving. It really doesn't matter. Our guys are ready to go. Our coaches are so good at getting these guys fired up and ready week in and week out for the players that we got. I mean, imagine if we had, I don't want to do the should, coulda, woulda, but just Aleem and Hutch back with Anzalone right now. You know what I mean? Like, just having those two back would make a massive difference alone. Obviously, Aleem's not coming back, and we don't know if we're getting Hutch back. But if we could just get 2 guys back, and it was those 2, my goodness, I think we're walking through it. Phil, Devil, I'll meet you at the crossroad. Okay. Cassandra says, we face so many injuries. All these teams played us at 70%. It's our turn now. I see where you're going with it. I see what you're saying. We want to make it fair, but maybe this is fair because, like I said, I think we would just walk through everybody. If we had a full-strength team, I don't think anybody's touching us. If we had a full-strength team from where we started at the beginning of the season, or even like a few of those players back. But that's the name of the game. You got to roll with it. Next man up, and they've been doing a great job of that. Phil says Super Bowl bound and a revenge on the Bills. This is the Lions' revenge tour, right? Everybody's been talking about that this year. We went out and beat every team that we lost to last year. Well, we lost to 2 teams this year. And if we have to face the Bucs to get to the championship, I'm okay with beating them. And then if we got to face the Bills to win it all, there it is, baby. Revenge tour complete. Super Bowl champions. Crown us. Let's go. But yeah, it's part of it. What's up, Sailor Outlaw George? Hi, everyone, is what they say. Perry Ball says, my main concern is our injuries on the defense. Yes. Same, but if we play like we did last game, I mean, they stepped up to the plate. We just gotta go harder every single game. We got a bye week to rest up. They got to come out, same energy. Fans bring that energy. I know that gives them an extra boost of adrenaline. So if we can bring that every single game, we're going to be just fine because our offense is going to put up numbers. If the defense can play like that, because Minnesota before that game was considered one of the most potent offenses in the NFC. A lot of people had them number 1 in power rankings in the NFC side. They had them better than us. They're like, it's either Minnesota, Philly, then Detroit, or Philly, Minnesota, Detroit. Nah, none of that, son. Not when we play like that. And I trust that they're going to have the boys ready to go. I think they've been holding off on certain game plans until it was necessary, and we saw it this last week right here. They were pulling out all the stops. AG asked Dan, I'm going to be more aggressive. I'm going to take a lot of chances this game. You got my back. And Dan's like, of course. And they gambled and it worked out. So Sailor Outlaw, George, what's up? Oh, they said plus the Los Angeles Rams have a quarterback in Matthew Stafford who used to play for the Detroit Lions. Yes, that's something that we faced last year. We faced earlier in the year. Minnesota been getting knocked off by them, and they might again this week. Sailor Outlaw George says Detroit Lions versus Kansas City Chiefs is also a very promising game. I love that. I think we take care of them. The Chiefs, they have a good defense this year. Minnesota was supposed to have a top defense. Look what we did to them. 2 games, we put up over 30 points. So I just see, Chiefs, yeah, they're going to be tough. They always will be, but I don't think their offense is rolling the way that they would like it to. Yeah, we do have injuries, so maybe they get a few more, but that's a team I think that we could get the best of and take down in the Super Bowl. Perry Ball, Sam Darnold play well, but I think he's close to midnight. Okay. Phil, been so impressed with Mahogany. Me too. He calls himself the dirtbag. He goes out there and he plays like one. He's just aggressive. He plays really, really physical, and he takes pride in being a dirtbag. And that's the type of player, that we need on the team. That's Dan Campbell's style. So Zeitler, however you say it, if he can't go this next week, I trust in Mahogany being able to hold it down because he's had to hold it down for Glasgow. I think he's going to be one of those diamonds in the rough that we found later in a later round this last year that Brad Holmes just had a feeling about. And, it was unfortunate early on in the year before the season started that he had that illness going on because he had a slow start and everything. But now it's all coming together, and it looks like he's going to fit in great with this offensive line and a great depth piece there. Promising for the future as well because Zeitler's on that 1-year contract. So maybe he doesn't come back and Mahogany just fills in. But I like what Mahogany's doing as well. I've been impressed with him too, Phil. Phil says, I believe the Lions would pound the poo out of the Chiefs. I'm with you. And I think so too. Perry Ball. KC versus the Bills could be a great AFC championship game as long as the refs stay out of it. Yeah. And I don't know if they will. You know how they love their ratings, and Taylor Swift brings some ratings to them, so they love the Chiefs. They really do. Phil, also impressed with how J-Mo is dropping his shoulder and hitting people instead of running out of bounds. Yeah, J-Mo is a whole nother animal this year. He's a football player. You can tell he loves the game. He's a gamer. He goes out there and he gives his 100 for you every single week. He blocks for you. He sets some real nice blocks. He doesn't give up. He wants to be on angry runs apparently and take out a defender. They're like, oh, he's a little guy and all this stuff, and he had a bad rep for a long time. But I just absolutely love what Jameson Williams has been doing this year, and putting out all the haters. Yes, he did have a few incidents where it's like, come on, J-Mo, what are you doing? But I think he's growing in to be a great young player, and we need to lock him up because he's embracing that whole Lions mentality as well. And any receiver like Amon-Ra, Tim Patrick, Jameson Williams, Khalif Raymond, the guys that we got who will go out there and block for you, you got something special there because there's a lot of diva receivers in this league, and St. Brown or J-Mo could both do that, and they don't. They go out there and they play hard every single snap, and I love it. All right. Sailor Outlaw George says Detroit Lions are giving every other NFL teams really bad nightmares, and I absolutely love seeing that. Yeah, it's great. The other day, after the Lions beat the Niners, I went up to get, just some lunch meat. I needed some lunch meat, and I wanted to just slice it up. It was at the deli counter. And the lady comes up. She's real nice at first. She goes, hey, how can I help you? And I go, I just want some meat, and told her what kind I wanted. And then she looks, she goes, oh. And I'm wearing a Lions jersey, and she's got her Niners stuff on. And she goes, those injuries are going to catch up to you. And I was like, whoa. I was like, what? I was like, just because they caught up to y'all, we ain't the Niners. We ain't soft like you guys, okay? I didn't say that, but just the fact that everywhere I go now, if I'm wearing Lions stuff and there's another team, somebody from another team, And, they're just haters. And that just shows how good we are now. You got to embrace it. I don't know what the hate is towards the Lions now, but it's amazing. We'll take it. That just proves that we're doing the right thing and that people are sick of us being on top. Even though we haven't won the Super Bowl yet, get used to it because we coming for it back to back. Just like, we got to win it this year first. But we're coming for multiple ones. We don't just want one. We're coming for multiple ones, baby. We got to get one first. And hopefully that's this year. But yes, when I see people wearing other stuff and they see me in my Lions stuff, it's amazing now. It's amazing. All right. Where was I? Here we go. Perry Ball. Our offensive needs to lead us to the Super Bowl. It needs to be firing on all cylinders. I agree. This last game, we got off to a slow start. We cannot have that moving forward. But the defense stepped up in a massive way, and I think that they'll continue to play better. I don't know if we'll do that. I don't know if we'll hold teams to 9 points like that, but Alex Anzalone makes such a huge difference out there. He really does. His energy's contagious, people. It's contagious. I can feel it right now. The electricity's going through my soul. All right, Phil. Is Goff the most intelligent player in the league, maybe ever? Ooh, ever? That's, that is, I don't know. Because, who are we comparing him to? Like Tom Brady or something? He is very intelligent. To be able to run Ben Johnson's offense, it takes a great mind and a lot of discipline. And Goff's the man. He is playing at an all-time high level. Yes, he had 2 picks this last game, but he got it together. And he got the job done. So I love Goff. I'm glad that we extended him. And he is one of the most intelligent players in the league for sure, if not the most intelligent for sure. Sailor Jameer the Terminator Gibbs. Yeah, Gibbs is a superstar, says Perry Ball. Phil says, is that your dog behind you? That is a graphic, but my dog is over here next to me. I would move the camera, but then I get out of whack. But that is just a graphic of my dog. Yeah, that's Big Hoss. That's Hoss right there. If you follow on Twitter, X, or on Facebook, anywhere, he gets a post every single week, and he asks the Lions for a win, and he's always in his uniform with a hat on usually. But Hoss is a diehard Lions fan as well, and he joins me every episode right here. But over here, sorry, that's just a graphic, but he is right next to me as well. But he's laying down, he's sleeping. He's a big lazy guy. All right, but he's big part of the show. He's over here working with me. Perry Ball. Laporta need to step it up. I think he's been doing good. They just don't have, the biggest plan for him every single week. We have so many playmakers. He did have 7 receptions for 63 yards, made some big-time plays. The game before that came up massive against the 49ers, had a touchdown and whatnot. So I think he's doing good. He's still setting NFL records in his second year. He's just being a lot more quiet than he was last year. But expect that to change here in the postseason. We're going to get some looks for people who aren't expecting. We're going to move it around. Expect Tim Patrick to have a big game. Khalif Raymond probably make a big difference. But Laporta will be a huge plan moving forward into the playoffs. It's amazing that they haven't had to use him as much as they did last year. Because, it's good, too, because remember last year he did get hurt moving into the playoffs. He was a huge part of the offense, but now it's kind of going to be our secret weapon. People have to keep an eye out for him. He's a dangerous target no matter what, and people are going to game plan for him. But the fact that he's been quietly putting up numbers is great for us because it's just another person we can get the ball to who's going to make a difference come playoff time, and that is in a few weeks, baby. Playoffs are here next week, but we got the bye. All right. Where we go? Here we go. Phil, it was great to see Barry Sanders looking so fit and happy. Yes, him, Calvin Johnson out there too. Eric Ebron was in the building. I don't know if you guys saw that. They had Eric Ebron on the sideline with Megatron. I'm glad they didn't show him on the Jumbotron. He probably would have got booed out of the building. Because, I don't know who invited him back, but that's hilarious because he does not have a good rep with the fans. He was talking crap when he left Detroit. So it's funny that he wants to come back. But, I never really had a problem with Ebron when he was with us. Yeah, he had some crazy drops, but he was the one talking crap when he left. So I don't know. It's weird to see him in the building. That's all I got to say. Phil, just smile and say, maybe so. We will see. Okay. All right. Sailor Outlaw George, the Detroit Lions are now a few more wins away from cementing their legacy as one of the greatest NFL teams in history. 15-2 is one of the greatest ever. They're definitely the greatest Lions team ever if they can get to a certain point. They already the greatest Lions regular season team. But that's not enough. We need to solidify it and put our stamp on this season with a Super Bowl win. Get into the Super Bowl. But I want to win. If we're there, we got to win it all. You don't know if you'll get back. The injuries proved it this year that it's just like, whew, this is crazy. I can't believe we're playing this way with how many injuries we have. And that is a testament to this team, to the coaches. It's insane. The mentality that they got, any other team would have rolled over and died by now. But we're the Lions. And we don't do that. We keep fighting. You're going to have to bury us, baby. And you can't bury what came from the dirt. That's right, Amik. Let's go. All right. Here we go. Phil says, Levi got shook up last game. Is he okay? Worry about that kid. He is okay. They're not as concerned with him. He should be back next game. He's going to rest up this week. He did take a blow, but he's been in and out of the lineup since he's been with the Lions, but he's really played way better this year. Took a huge step, and if we're losing O'Connor, we need Levi to be healthy, but Levi will be good to go. Next game is the word. He did get banged up, like you said, but with the week off, he should be good to go for that divisional round. All right, here we go. Perry Ball, key to the Rams versus Vikings for the Vikings is how well Sam D plays. Sam D needs to play the game of his life to beat the Rams. I agree. I think that the Rams are going to be putting up points. They're going to be at home. They play different in the playoffs. They started rolling. They rested players last week, so they're not injured. They're not as sore as maybe the Vikings are coming after the Lions game, and that's been a thing all year. If you lose to the Lions, the majority of the time, or when you play the Lions, the majority of the time the next week, the teams have lost. I think there's only been 2 teams who haven't lost, or maybe 3, after they played the Lions this year. So it's going to be tough for them. And I think that Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, they're going to be putting up some big-time numbers. Their run game is pretty good too. So it's going to be tough for the Vikings, 100%. Do I have an X link I can post? Right now, I'm not sure I can post it while I'm here, but if you follow, it's at Nick _Harksen. That is Nick _NICK _HARKSEN. Here, I'll put it right over here in the chat at Nick _Harksen. Go ahead and go give me a follow over there on X. You can follow me on a lot of places. But yeah, it's down there in the chat once it comes up for you guys. And that's where you can follow me on X. All right. Phil says we have such a great tight ends. Wright and Mitchell are great too. Yeah, they are. Brock Wright is a beast. We haven't even seen what Mitchell can do yet because our tight end room is so stacked. But they are great options outside of Laporta. Laporta is just from tight end U, and he understands, man. That guy has just got a different IQ out there. He blocks well. He had a huge block, a few of them on Gibbs' touchdown runs. So, it is what it is, but I love it. Old Cement Hands talking about Eric Ebron. Yep. Perry Ball, my picks for NFC wildcard game are Rams, Washington, and Philly. So that means we would play Washington. Phil says, agree, Perry. No one can beat the Lions. Yes. It would be tough to beat the Lions, especially at home this year. The only one there that I really see, that can give us a fit, the Rams play us tough at home. Stafford's just used to being there. And then the Eagles. Of course, the Bucs walked in earlier this season and did it, but I think it'll be way different this time around. Our offense was not even clicking at all yet. We're a way different team now than we were then. So, but so are they. So either way, it's going to be tough. It won't be easy, But thank goodness we got that number 1 seed and a bye because we needed that bye bad more than anything. More than anything. Not saying that we couldn't have been road warriors and got all the way to the Super Bowl that way, but this bye was so huge for us since the bye during the regular season was week 5. Phil, I'll see you there. That's right. Perry Ball, nobody can say we didn't earn the number 1 seed. We beat a lot of good teams. We did, with a lot of injuries as well. I mean, when you go and you look at the strength of schedule compared to everybody else in the league, we're up there with the top. Like, we have one of the hardest schedules this year, and we still came away 15-2. Still came away 15-2. Perry Ball says Washington's QB is scary. Yeah, the Lions have trouble with running QBs. Yes, he is. We've done better this year, I felt like, with running quarterbacks. It makes a difference when you have your studs out there, though. But I think that we'll be able to handle it okay. And if we have to go into a shootout with them, I don't think they can keep up with us. They kind of wait until the end to start to click. They have had games where they get off to a hot start, but, Washington, for the most part, they're trying to come back, and they do, and they win at the last second. But with us, we might put up enough points to where it might be too little too late, is what I'm saying. I don't know if they can keep up. But if we start the way we did with Minnesota, then then it's going to be scary. Then it will be scary for sure. Lori King, we are undefeated on the road. That's right, we're the road warriors, but I love that home field advantage. You saw the atmosphere the other night. It made a huge difference. It's different when it's that kind of playoff type feel, when everything's on the line. When it's win or go home, the fans understand the assignment. The players get way more pumped up. And to not have to travel is just a luxury for them. To come out of their own home and go to the game, and then to have everybody cheering for you, causing some false starts on the offense, causing some encouragement on the defense. It's a luxury to have, and I think that we have one of the best, if not the best, fan bases, the loudest in the league this year for sure. Sailor says, I find it so cool, although very somber at the same time. Sorry, this is a little text to me. That the Super Bowl is going to be in New Orleans, Louisiana, especially given the track events that took place over there. My condolences to them. Yes, condolences to the people in New Orleans. But there is another kind of coincidence that I think we can look at in the positive, that it's in New Orleans. Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn both had big-time coaching revelations. They really became who they were as coaches in New Orleans. They love going back to New Orleans. To play for the Super Bowl in New Orleans would be massive for Dan. It would mean a lot to a few of those guys on that coaching staff. And best believe we taking it home if we get to New Orleans for that fact alone. And because we just some dogs. But Dan's going to get him fired up. He's going to be like, this is where. I know he was in with Miami and all that, but this is where Sean Payton trusted me to be the assistant coach, brother. I was doing more Hulk Hogan right there. But man, they got him and AG got ties there, and it would be probably a great feeling for them to go and be able to win a Super Bowl in New Orleans. They would want that more than anything in that stadium. I mean, obviously Detroit would be the place where we would want to win it out of any stadium, but I think if Dan Campbell had the choice to go anywhere else, it'd be the Superdome. Scott White, what's up? How much longer is Hutchinson out for? Well, Dan Campbell said today in his press conference, he's like, look, Hutch had a season-ending injury. He goes, so, that's where he's going to leave it at. But he said if anybody could get back, it's Hutchinson. And that's all he pretty much said. So probably Super Bowl time if he is coming back. But I've been saying this throughout the episode. Hutch was on the sideline. You don't put your star player out there with a leg injury and put them more at risk to get rolled up on the sideline if they can't get out the way or if they can't move enough to get out the way. They would not risk Hutch on the sideline if he was too hurt to be able to move out of the way of somebody coming over there. So that, to me, is something to keep an eye on and to keep in the back of your heads, because it could be a bluff. They'll be like, Hutch, yeah. If anybody could do it, it's Hutch, but I think that they might know, because you would not put Hutch out there. I'm just saying. You wouldn't risk it. You would not risk it. I know Hutch wants to be there. He's probably wanted to be there for weeks now on the sideline. But you don't risk your star player for more injury on the sideline if he can't move out the way. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say about that. Lost Air Jordans. Hutch is done. Let the man heal, y'all. And if he is, man. But he, out there on the sideline too, having that just energy there, it makes a difference. He was screaming in people's faces. He was letting his presence be known. Anzalone on the field makes a huge difference as well. Hutch, that injury is terrible. That injury is so hard to come back from. And players who've had it before, they've made it clear. They're like, hey, I've had that injury. I don't see it happening. I do not see him coming back from that. And, Dan Campbell said if anybody could, it's Hutch. But we got to just kind of, expect that he won't be there. And then if he is there, that's an extra bonus. But expect him to not be there. But Hutch, I'm pulling for you, man. Either way, it's all good. Scott White, Montgomery back. Yes, that's the word on the street. Dan Campbell did say that in his press conference today. Montgomery should be good to go for the divisional round. That is the next game for the Lions. That's huge. Sonic and Knuckles are back. I said this earlier too, but I think that Gibbs will still handle the workload for the first game at least. He'll get more snaps, maybe not like it has been where he's getting a heavy workload and then Craig and Jamar Jefferson come in there for, a few limited snaps. But I think they'll work Montgomery back in. I don't think it'll be half and half that first game because Jameer's been doing an outstanding job handling that as the RB1. But having Sonic and Knuckles back is going to be great for this playoff run. And it's amazing because just a few weeks ago, we were thinking that Demo was done for the season. But now, Dan Campbell said it himself. He's expected to play in the divisional round. Crazy, but amazing. Easy Lions Minute. Good to see you in here. If Dan says Hutch's season is ending, I expect him back. Okay. So then are you expecting Carlton Davis and Barnes back too? Because he said that they're done. And that would be great if we could get all three of them back. Oh, my goodness. That would make such a huge difference for that defense. But, yeah, I don't know. Dan Campbell does like to bluff a lot. They don't like to let their secrets be known. So, really, it's all cryptic messages. We just got to take it for what it is, trust the guy, and then if they do end up coming back, that's a bonus. That's a bonus. Perry Ball, a Lions Super Bowl win will be the best for the NFL. A team that been a history bad in the Super Bowl era, winning helps with keeping fans interested in the NFL over another KC Super Bowl. I agree, and our numbers show it. That Sunday Night Football game was the most watched football game for the most minutes consecutively since like 2012. I think there was like 200 or 28.3 million people watching all at once for like the duration of the game, which is insane. But it was a huge game. It was pretty much a playoff game to start or to end the season. So Scott White, I don't know what happened to Jamal Williams in NOLA. Barely used. I thought he was good for the Lions. Yeah, he was good for the Lions, but that's just, that shows how good our offensive line is too. And maybe what coaches can get out of players as well. Nothing against the coaches down in NOLA, but they did fire their head coach. There was something going on in the locker room there. And Dan Campbell, Scotty Montgomery, all of these guys in the locker room that are coaching for the Lions, they seem to be able to get the best out of every player. We have a great coaching staff. No other team in the league is going to have their third, fourth stringers out there playing that hard for them and coming up with the production that they are. Like, this is insane. I can't believe that we ended 15-2 with all the injuries that we have, but we're still playing great football. And that's why I do believe in this team to get to the Super Bowl, even though we're depleted. But we are getting some people back. Demo, they said Ennis Rakestraw should be back soon. Terrion Arnold and Zeitler, their injuries are not as bad as they initially thought. They don't know if they're going to play in the next game, but they are moving in the positive direction. Now, like I said, O'Connor is not looking so good, so that's bad news for that. And but yeah, we'll be getting some people back. And to me, we got the biggest one this last week, and it made such a huge difference in Anzalone. Just the energy is contagious. Him and Jack at the linebacker position together, it's just solid. And we're back, baby. That's how I feel. Perry Ball, Williams got an overinflation head. The Lions found better in David Montgomery and Gibbs. Yeah, I agree. It all worked out for the better. Blessing in disguise. Lori King, we have been involved with the highest viewership this season. Prime game against the Packers, Monday Night Football against the 49ers, and this past Sunday, amazing how many people are rooting for them. Yeah, 100%, and I think that, I don't want them to rig games or anything for us at all, but, maybe the commissioner will be like, hey, take it easy on the Lions. You guys have been so hard on them all these other years. I know you still got some kind of bone in your body that has hate for them for some reason, but don't just go out there and call some unnecessary flags to try and screw them over. We're built for it. Don't get me wrong. We're built for this. These refs can try and hold us back, but they ain't going to. We're too good. But I hope that maybe it'll lighten up a little bit since we're bringing in so much viewership for the commish and getting them extra money. You know what I mean? Who knows? Scott White agreed Anzalone is underrated back there, 100%. He just flies around, gets everybody fired up. It's amazing what just his energy does out there for that defense. Easy Lions Minute, seeing Anzo in pass coverage was amazing from what we saw with Quan. Completely changed the defense. Yep, big time. He made some huge pass breakups against Harksen. He was the guy was just playing out of his mind. And a lot of people, usually it takes them a few games to get back, to get comfortable playing football again, because you just got a big injury. Sometimes you're like, oh, man, I don't want to go back out there and injure myself again. So you kind of hold up a little bit, but not Anzalone. That man was going 100% the entire time. Perry Ball, hopefully Rakestraw and TA should take a big step next season for us at cornerback. Yeah, and I would hope, I don't know if it's going to happen, but I think even with the broken jaw, I think that Carlton Davis deserves a few more years with the Lions. I think that he proved he's our style of player. He's a dog. He was out there playing great football before he got injured, and he was getting better and better each game. So it was unfortunate that he got injured, but I do see Rakestraw making a big leap next year, getting a lot more playing time. TA's been getting better and better each week. He had a great play against Addison. I think that, it's just rookie growing pains. The cornerback position is one of the hardest to play. Only a few can be great right off the bat. Joey Porter Jr. this year is having a great year in Pittsburgh. What was he was drafted last year though. There's Sauce was a good one. Cooper DeJean, you can argue, is all right, but yeah, I mean, it's a tough position to come in and play as a rookie right off the bat. But I think that they will make a huge leap next year. All right, y'all. I've been over the hour mark, and usually I'm out of here at an hour. It's been great chatting it up with all you guys today. I will be back here next Tuesday, once again at 5 p.m. Detroit time, 4 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. on the West Coast. Until then, enjoy this Victory Tuesday. Enjoy the victory, being the North champs, all the way up until our next game. We got this. I don't care who we play, but we'll know next Tuesday, and we'll be here to talk about it. Come back if this is your first time. Subscribe if this is your first time. My boy Derek, who runs the channel, also goes live on here a few times a week, so it's not just me. There'll be more Lions content. But I'm here every single Tuesday, same time. I'll let you know if it switches up, but should be the same next week. 5 p.m. Detroit, 4 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. on the West Coast. I hope you all have a great day. Celebrate that Victory Tuesday, and I will see you next week. Peace.
Detroit Lions!